Hello and welcome back to the organization or organizing for crisis communications. This is part one, before a crisis occurs. Again, here's how the pieces all fit together under POETE. In this workshop, we're going to cover organization, how to staff this role, including the backups and support staff. The other four workshops will cover planning, that was the first one, which includes the priorities before, during, and after an incident. Then comes equipment, which is needed for this missions, training needed, and the concept of exercising these planning, organization, equipment, and training components via a stair-stepped approach of increasing capability and complexity. In the design of the communications team overall POETE, there were organizing objectives and strategic priorities. We believe these are some of the important elements of organizing before, during, and after an emergency or disaster. There are undoubtedly other elements as well. If you can think of any that are generic to any organization, please let me know in the class comments section so we can improve this workshop. The preparedness phase for all of the parts of POETE, including organization, is the longest. It's also the phase you reset to after an incident occurs. Now is the time to take training, do exercising, and build staffing organization tables with backups to cover a number of scenarios that could occur. Don't forget from our first workshop on planning, disasters can be categorized into three distinct groupings: natural and human-made disasters, product and process disasters, and fictitious disasters. Every team needs a leader or two, and these people should also be the alternate spokespersons for your organization, if your organization's executive leader is not available. Don't forget this could be a 24-hour-a-day operation, so you may need backups and other shift coverage. Your team will need someone who can produce content for traditional media outlets, press releases, talking points, FAQs, speeches, etc. As part of the planning workshop, you should have created some sample templates in this area. Those can be the starting points and should have already been vetted by your organization's leadership, legal group, etc. Your team will also need additional staff for digital media, the different systems, contents, formats, etc. And this person needs skills and tools to both monitor social media reports and report back to the team applicable intelligence gathered. It's not just a one-way street when it comes to social media. There are people who will complain about your organization to social media, but not call or email your organization directly. The media can and will pick up on that aspect. If this incident is larger, longer in term, and impacts multiple government organizations, there may be what's called a Joint Information Center, or JIC, established where all the information to the public is coordinated. Your crisis communications team should be prepared to staff a liaison position, possibly two, to each JIC as applicable to the impact of the incident or disasters. Let's take a really bad situation. If a commercial airline were to crash into one of your office buildings, killing and injuring staff from your organization and others, as well as many on the airplane, there may be multiple JICs established at the crash site, the Family Assistance Center, possible other locations such as hospitals. You should consider having translators for other languages, including American Sign Language, on your team, on call from your staff, or under contract from a third-party vendor. You should also consider who within your organization who's not on your crisis communications team might be a subject matter experts related to the specific disaster. Your building engineering staff, for example, understand the impacts of long-term power outages to the facility, frozen pipes, computer system failures, etc. Finally, you might want to consider adding outside media consultants to your team, especially if communicating your organization's actions, positions, reaction, etc. is beyond the capabilities of your crisis communications team. Now is the time to make these connections and agreements before something happens. Now it's your turn to practice. Please draft an organization chart for your crisis communications team and include some brief descriptions for the positions you would need and the number of people for each role. Use the Barton Do Not blog post section to add your contributions so that others can see. Again, this is optional. Review the template we provided in the class project section and use MS Word to update appendix number 2 at the end of that template document, which already has a built-in org chart. Don't add anyone's real names or cell phone numbers to the version that you post to the Barton Do Not blog post section. The value here is to describe the different roles you think are needed on the crisis communications team.